Hello everyone, it is me, GamePenguin21, and today, I know that I said that I would make this a 2-video upload schedule this week, but honestly, I feel weird not making a third video this week, because there was a lot to talk about, because there was a lot of smaller stuff that ended up happening. I know that there's one big thing right now with the announcement trailer for Assassin's Creed Shadows, but to be honest, that requires its own video, and to be fair, I really should upload that video Tuesday, because I need a few more tweets just to be sure that I'm getting all different angles from here, because I like to inform you guys rather than just entertain you guys for the most part. But do know that that video is probably being worked on as we speak. But obviously, we have to talk about some of the more smaller things that I just think didn't deserve their own videos, so I'm just going to kind of shotgun you with a bunch of information. That cool? Cool. In any case, let's get started with that, but first, of course, is the shill bit. 1K subscribers by the end of the year, please. Thank you. I appreciate you, and you guys are awesome. I know that you guys are getting tired of me hearing it, but I mean, we're getting closer every day, and I know that we can do this. Thank you all so much for your support. Support me in other ways, shape, or forms, down in the description to all of the other socials and things like that, making my own music on the Bandcamp, and coming down to the Twitch, twitch.tv/GamePenguin21, to check me out some more. With that being said, let's get started. So, of course, we're going to start off with the more interesting one, which actually happened a bit earlier this week. That is with Nikita, or the more colloquially known as one of the main developers on Escape from Tarkov, which is going through its own kind of big thing right now. If you want to keep up with that, this is not the channel to do it, but to basically make a quick summary, they got rid of the EOD edition, and they have replaced it with the Unheard edition, and that has about $250, and has basically been one of the bigger kind of weird things that have been happening. But this has somewhat to do with that, because Sincerely Arena Breakout Infinite is coming out soon. Nikita posted this little tweet here saying, guess what that means, saying that it's a match between two very interesting topology maps, or something to the effect of that, within a 3D modeling program. Both of these seem to be some sort of dust covers for a specific variant of Pum Pum, if you want to do that sort of thing. And I'm fairly certain that anyone who plays Escape from Tarkov can do that. Now, there is a little bit of an update with this, in the sense that people have been trying to debate whether or not this is actually stealing or not. This feels like the Pal World drama all over again. So, yeah, if this does turn out to be stolen assets, OnePeg and some of the other people have failed to actually find the amount of stolen assets from this game, or at least they have been unable to find specifically this dust cover within the files of at least Escape from Tarkov, meaning that either this is stuff that Tarkov has been working on in the background, or this has been stuff that Tarkov has had, but that's not available in the current patch of the game. Unsure as to where this is going to go. I just thought that this was a very interesting one, because this is clearly them trying to make some sort of DMCA stuff, and people have also been joking that they have been, like, DMCAing people, which they have been doing, it had known in the past. So, again, it's one of those things where overall, this don't go off of just this image alone. If you want more information or more updates on this, again, I recommend looking up OnePeg. That is one word, OnePeg online. He will have that in there as well. I'll probably see if I can link him in either the comments or the description. If I don't remember the comments, just bug me in the... If I don't remember the description, bug me in the comments. I'll fix it whenever I get around to it. Next up here, we have Shadow Fox Infinite. There is an overwhelming amount of individuals on this app that are grossly ignorant of what piracy is and how copyright law is violated by modifying a game image. Y'all really need to read up on write up if you want to yell into the void about preservation. Now, this is clearly talking about things such as emulation and things such as modding in some cases, I believe. Overall, look, if you don't understand the difference between modding, piracy, and emulation, then you don't understand what you're talking about. And clearly this person thinks, I am 90% certain that this person thinks that piracy and emulation are kind of one and the same, even though that's completely and utterly not true. Emulation is basically like the software that runs the actual ROMs and stuff, whereas some ROMs can be piracy, but not all ROMs are piracy. One of, if not the biggest reasons as to why this was created in the first place was to create like some sort of copyright system, and this wasn't necessarily meant to talk about this stuff. If you want to look at the actual weird history of what piracy was, piracy originally talked about things such as actual pirates, because they were doing a thing where they were stealing from people's stuff, and that sort of got grandfathered into the current day issues, where it has now evolved into making a copy of specifically software. Now, that software still exists within the realm of the world, it kind of violates a copyright law, but blah, 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 blah. Overall, look, I know the difference between emulation and piracy and copyright law and modifying game images and stuff like that. You can probably do all of that on your own. I am not a lawyer. I don't know anything more about this. If you want to look at more information, I guess, Sneaky Cacti has probably got some good videos on the difference between emulation and piracy. But yes, we do want to make this sort of stuff for preservation purposes, because this sorts of stuff should be preserved, because it's like art and science and cool things. So next up here, we have a weird take with someone talking about how PlayStation, with anyone who has a problem with PlayStation embracing BC doesn't realize that they would have never bought the games and would have been stuck on console. And he's basically talking about all the games that they've brought over to PC right now, the games that have been ported, with Ninja here coming back with a very dumb-ass take as someone who's been gaming on PC longer than I've been on PlayStation. This take is idiotic. I'm glad I go where the games I like are. Imagine missing great games because the platform you are on couldn't be me. That's why I own a gaming PC and PS5. This isn't a flex. Now, this is one of, if not the biggest things that a lot of PlayStation fanboys and fanboys in general talk about. So when they say buy the console that has the game on it, they mean buy the console because you as a consumer should go where the games are. That's not true. This basically is the equivalent of that one meme where it's like, don't ask questions, just consume product and then get excited for next product. When in actuality, asking questions and demanding better from the platforms is good. You know, it demands like change and actual stuff when it applies appropriately. And yeah, certainly, I guess some people like going to the actual platform to get the games for it, but not everyone's you, Mr. Ninja. And in fact, what's more interesting is that most people are not wanting to buy an entirely separate console or an entirely separate platform because they don't require it, because they just want it for like, what, 1 or 2 games? Oh, but I can then buy a whole bunch of other games on that platform. Yeah, but if my PC can basically run all the games that I ever want, but there are more games out there that I don't get access to because of some stupid rule that says, oh, this is to our platform and you're going to need to buy our platform, I'm not going to buy it because that's yet another hurdle. To anyone who is in sort of marketing or business stuff, understand that when you're selling a product, service, or otherwise, you need to get over that sort of cognitive dissonance originally, and the more hurdles you put in the way of that person from buying your product, the more cognitive dissonance that they will have, and the more like, well, I don't think it's cognitive dissonance, but you know what I mean, the more like hurdles that a person has to jump through in order to get an object or get like a product that they would want. Not everyone's willing to do that. You cut down on the amount of your market as well. More interestingly, in recent news, Helldivers 2 has now sold over 12 million copies in the first 3 months, becoming one of the fastest PlayStation selling games ever, which is really cool. But more so than that, one particular rabbit hole that I went down involved a person that apparently this person, Yimis V1, as I will call him by their handle, and their sort of other stuff, he decided to try to, I guess, talk to I believe this is the CEO. I forget specifically if this is the CEO or the CFO, but this is one of the higher-ups at Arrowhead Studios, and he talks about how the earnings call has sold over 12 million units, and that it's crazy to think that there are more Helldivers than there are people in Sweden, and that it's a massive achievement involving realizing that Helldivers 2 is a massive thank you for the support, with a little bit more that I cut off here because I was going down this whole rabbit hole bit. So this person then says, I feel you robbed me and want my $40 back, with them asking back as to how come. I'm really curious. He then goes on to say, you made accommodations for cheaters and griefers. What the fuck are you talking about? I guess he means specifically PC. There is no way for me to report the behavior and abuse on the PC, and that also can't read the requirements page. The requirements I'm bound by for the same game. Your decision impacted the other players you didn't care about. Look, obviously he's complaining about the cheaters and the sort of griefers in the game of Helldivers 2. Now, number one, and more importantly, there is a report system in Helldivers 2. I'm 99.99% sure of that. There's no way that they would release this online game without having some sort of report system in that. And yeah, certainly, maybe that person doesn't have a PSN account, but you would be able to report those people to say other stuff. Or you would say, like, leave the game if they're griefing the game, and leave the game if they're cheating, mute them if they're having those sorts of talks about and those sorts of things. And you're actually advocating for censorship, more or less, in that, with the whole game getting reported and banned side of stuff. Like, again, there's also such things as turning crossplay off, which inevitably makes more sense. You know, if you don't like the PC, which a lot of PlayStation guys apparently don't, they just have their crossplay turned off, so guess what? They don't have to encounter all those PC guys that they apparently hate so much. And this was brought up later in the conversation. I accidentally cut it off before that sort of conversation happened, and this was the response to them basically giving that sort of thing. Someone with Liberty Enjoyer basically said what I just said, and then he shoots back with an, I shouldn't have to, they can just create a PSN account. Again, forgetting the whole factor that, in certain countries, it's not available in a lot of countries. It's also one of those things where in some countries, it's way more invasive because, again, it requires like biological stuff, and people don't want to hand that over too easily to some place that they apparently just really don't like to do. You have it because it's available for your system, and you have to have it for your system, but we don't. That's stupid. So then they say, why wouldn't you, if it's truly what you want to, if you truly want to avoid them? He says, cause I shouldn't have to. Why should I have to do shit cause they can't enforce what they enforce on me? I think he's trying to use the thing of rules for thee and not for me, I guess, or rules for me and not for thee, or he's trying to flip that sort of thing around. Look, they walked back to the decision. You're upset about it. And the unfortunate thing is they're not going to go back, because if they do, their whole, everything that they've worked for this game will go out the window. Not only that, again, you require it because you're on the platform that you have for your online system. It doesn't matter. If you want to demand better, yell at Sony. Don't yell at the developers of the game. If you don't want a PSN account, yell at Sony. If you don't want to pay for online, yell at Sony. Well, the account thing is probably for Sony's thing of tracking your stuff. So, yeah. Again, different platforms require different amounts of stuff. But here's the thing. He's complaining about this while on PlayStation as a platform, meaning that he apparently doesn't like having a PSN account or something, or he wants it to be equal. Dude, it's very equal, and it's also mostly a co-op game. Again, there's so many different options here, just having to deal with it. And again, you've been playing, here's the thing, you were playing with people without a PSN account if you had this for the first, if you bought this day one. Right? They had it turned off for the first 3 months. And guess what? Those people that you were playing with, some of them, a lot of them probably didn't have a PSN account. And a lot of them probably didn't even make a PSN account or even link one or anything like that. So obviously it wasn't a problem before. Now, it's just a problem now because you were really upset that, they decided to walk back the decision because, everyone else requires it and they're making accommodations for PC. Too bad. Also, again, it wasn't a dev decision. It was a CEO position. Liberty then comes back. He says, because it's a simple option in the game's menu, it was the first thing I turned off. I never looked back. There wasn't PSN on PC for the first 3 months. Nothing really changed. And he is very much correct in that. He then shoots back with, as simple as creating a PSN, right? And again, to go back to some of the stuff, the simpleness of creating the PSN was never really the issue, but in some cases it actually was, because, again, it required more steps than people thought about. Because, again, in certain countries, it requires, like, biological data as well as your, like, state-mandated ID. I don't want to do that. I know that it's probably not where I live, because I live in America, but I don't want to have to make another account, because I will never make a PSN account. I never wanted to, nor do I require or think that it should be good. He said that it's even simpler. It's just 2 or 3 button presses. He says, you accommodate, I'm not. To which I think he then said that he was going to delete the actual game itself, and hasn't played it, because he apparently got so angry that the PSN account requirement wasn't enforced that he just deleted the game and has never looked back. Overall, that is the saltiest I have ever seen of the interesting fallout of this, and I'm glad that I went down this little rabbit hole to share it with you guys, because it was totally worth the effort. Anyway, moving on. I think Dreg kind of puts this the most simply here, where he says, this PlayStation fanboy is pathetic, lol. He wants his $40 back because Arrowhead couldn't force restrictions on the PC community. Again, it wasn't Arrowhead, it was Sony specifically, but the generalness is the same thing. Plus, where are all these cheaters? Like, yeah, are they in the room with that right now? I've been playing on PC since release and yet not yet to come across it. Does he realize how invasive the anti-cheat software is for Helldivers 2? Which is, again, kernel level stuff. This has all been gone over and stuff like that. But if you want to have a little bit of more interesting and delusional PlayStation fanboy takes, let's look at this one from Pyrogen, which I think I will end the video off on, which is going to make your brain melt, so please, please, please make sure that you have your body ready for this. So, Pyrogen, I know I'm fucking up the name, I'm sorry, but he basically says the following. PC gamers will pirate even if the game is free. Anyone says otherwise don't know shit about PC gaming at all. This thing is most people don't want to install BS software like Steam, EGS, etc on their PC, which already has Windows installed. This is the reason PC gaming is in decline.
It's amazing. You are 100% wrong. I mean, nothing you've said has been right.
How does your brain function, right? Like, this is my biggest question here. Number one, PC gamers will pirate a game even if it's free. Here's the thing. How the fuck can you do that? Like, no, seriously, how the fuck can you do that? That makes like absolutely no sense as to how you can pirate a game if the game is completely 100% free. That's literally just taking the game off of something and then just having it. Like, that's not how this works. That's not how piracy works. Piracy is you take the game illegally. It's a paid for product. If the product is free, you're not pirating the game. That's not how piracy works. You clearly have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Next up, he says that he doesn't know that people who don't think that don't understand PC gaming at all. I don't think you understand PC gaming at all because, again, you can't pirate a game if it's free. Like, what the fuck part of that it makes any sense at all? He then says that people don't like to install BS software like Steam, EGS, etc, and stuff like that. Considering that Steam is the most popular one, the thing is that it's not... There are programs that people don't want to install, yes, absolutely. And EGS is most likely one of those, and most of the things other than Steam, because, again, Steam is like the biggest platform, and most people know that Steam is good, at least if you're a good PC gamer. Not everyone likes Steam. There are people who don't, and that's fine. They are willing to go with their own opinions. But they don't want to install, like... It's not that they don't want to install software. It depends. It's one of those things where it's really fucking stupid, and people back in the day hated the fact that you needed a launcher and shit for everything on PC. And when Steam came along and basically kind of put everything together into a good, well put together storefront. People liked it, and everyone recommends it because it's the best place to play. And like, if you're not using Steam, you're missing out on a lot of stuff. But at the same time, like, you don't need to have Steam. That's again, this is clearly in reference to the Helldivers 2 situation, but we don't want extra stuff outside of the accounts that are already there, like basically Steam and Microsoft and maybe like one or two others. We hate these accounts that are extras. For I think standalone games, most people are fine with it because they have to do it their own way, mainly for games like Roblox and other stuff that are like more indie titles, but they don't like linking those external accounts to specifically people who say that, oh, they linking the one account thing is then list off all the accounts, don't understand why people don't want another account. And then then he says that's the reason PC gaming is in decline. Ah, yes, PC gaming is in decline despite the fact that more people are on PC and the number keeps growing every day for daily users on Steam. That's why 60% of the purchasing power for Helldivers 2 was on PC. But PC gaming is in decline. Oh boy. I don't know that I spent like way too much time on that last tweet, but that is the most amount of saltiness that can really be summed up to end this video. Overall, this past week has been quite the amount of salt stuff, and there's still more to come, probably next Tuesday. Again, we're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows, so again, look forward to that video. In any case, my name is GamePenguin21. If you like what it is that I do and want to support me in any way, shape, or form, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot, and I'm looking to hit 1K subscribers by the end of the year. Y'all are awesome for everything that you do. If you want to get my music, if you want to get the Twitch, all that in the description down below. Thank you all, again, so much for watching. My name is GamePenguin21, and a peace off.